that is a lack of respect. For crying out loud, at least go watch the games, even though you don't appreciate them, you don't respect them, but go watch the games anyway. Yeah, they would appreciate that. Because if women see a lot of people watching their games, they start realizing, hey, we're going somewhere here. But how is it every time they run tournaments, there's nobody there? How is it when they play mixed doubles against the men are watching because the men there. And the men are they're going hog wild against the women.
Hi, can you please tell us your name and what do you do?
Well, I need no introductions, like I said before. Angel Marquez.
Angel Marquez, can you please tell us what is your professional record, if you could recall the biggest trophies and your...
Oh, my nationals, because that's something I've been shooting for. That was my goal. Not to become the best. Like I told you, I saw a guy who I admired walking away with big trophies. I saw this tournament, and he became my idol. And I said, I want him. I want to be that same guy with the crowds around him, and getting these giant trophies almost as big as him. I said, I want to be that guy, and I did. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be like I told people. I didn't want to be him. I wanted everything he had, everything he was getting, all that respect and everything like that. You know what I mean? So I ended up doing it.
Who was your idol? Who was that person?
Ruben Gonzalez, who became he was the AAU national small ball champion. Spalding, he was great, and he became a national racquetball champion too, which I followed him after a while. I went into racquetball. I did good. I made it to the A level, won a couple of tournaments, and then I gave up after that because I just got exhausted from all the time on a racquetball court. But I had sponsors, so it worked out for me because I didn't fail at it. I made it to my last tournament was the Jersey Open, and I did good. I play everything. I play 4-wall. I've been in 4-wall tournaments. I went to the 3-wall nationals, so I branched out. But that was the key to becoming great was him. And of course, bumping into a guy that backed me up for money. And Frankie, I got to give Frankie all the credit in the world because Frankie brought my heart out. We went to park, played for money. I didn't know what playing for money was, but Frankie had all the money. So, everywhere we went, we bet. We're betting for $20 a game in the 70s. I looked it up. $20 a game was almost $80. I always wondered how come I could spend so much. But pizza was like $2. I mean, you could get a pizza and a soda, 2 pizzas and soda for $1. But yeah, so when I think about that, boy, I was playing $20 a game in the 70s, which was like $70 to $80 a game. Because that's how much you could buy with $20. And that's a lot of pressure. I didn't have no money. The thing about Frankie was he backed me up. I win, I get a cut. He gets a cut, I lose, you owe it to me. So I was always under pressure, So if I win, I got to take my winnings and give it to him for my losses. But Frankie brought the killer out of me, He really did. And, hard money games. It's tough guys. Even playing Ruben 2 against 1, imagine that. My God played both of us by himself. Beat us one game, we beat him. But he came to my park and I beat him for money. And that was the turning point in my career. I beat my God. So I guess I was pretty damn good. Just didn't know.
What was your score? You remember?
Yeah, 25-19, 21-19. It's close. The funny thing is, I was so nervous because it happened in my park, and everybody was betting on me because I'm the best in Arthur Park. For the time. So all my boys were there. This was a big deal. Everybody was there. It's not that they were there for a special. They were just there. He shows up, calls me out. Everybody betting on me. Guess what? I won. And that was it. Once I did that, word spread everywhere. Because who beat Ruben? Who was this guy, Angelo, who beat Ruben? Because they used to call me Angelo. Angelo was my name back in the days. It went from Angelo to Angel to Pro Angel to the machine, and then eventually to what I am now, Angel Marquez, or Marquez, which is actually my nickname. But my first name is Louis, but my middle name is Angel. But I go by Angel because everybody knows me as Angel. But at work, everybody calls me Lou.
What is your
Hey,
last
Lou.
name? What is your last name?
Marquez.
Marquez.
Yeah. But at work, when I decided to, when I was going through changes, when I got the job at the Cross County Mall, I didn't want to be Angel because I'm going through changes in my life, positive changes. So I told myself I don't want to be Angel because, I'm leaving the persona of Angel Marquez behind. So when I went to work, they asked me, they gave me a shirt, right? What name you want? Louis. This is my first name. Okay. So everybody at work called me Lou. They call me Big Lou. Hey, Big Lou. Nobody calls me Angel. But if you were to come looking for me, Angel? But if you mention Handball, then they know what you're talking about. Because they all know who I am. I mean, by reputation and everything. When they watch the videos and everything, I get treated kind of special. But, so I left that persona. At work, I leave that persona alone. Isn't that something, right? But once I walk out the court, hey, Angelo, you're here, right? Hey, Angel. So I go back to being, Angel Marquez. Only at work, my persona is, I trash it. I'm not Angel, I'm Louis. And I prefer it that way. I didn't want to be Angel. I didn't want to be Angel anymore. And the changes really paid off. Because I got to be who I really was. You know what I mean? Just Louis. That's it. Just Louis. Not Angel. Because it would have been the same shit. You know what I mean? I was still going to be Angel Marquez at work. I was still going to be Angelo at work. I was going to be Pro Angel at work. I didn't want to be that. I just wanted to start fresh. And I did. 26 years later, I'm still Lou. But like I said, once I leave, when I'm out here, when I'm in the courts, it's back to being Angel Marquez. Sometimes my ego gets the best of me.
Can you please tell us about the ego? Big, small ego. How important is it, and how bad is
huge.
it?
Look, in the words of Jake the Snake Roberts, if you don't say you're the best, then obviously you don't believe it. You understand what I'm saying? People will tell me that everybody wants to compare, being that I'm one of the great players. Everybody wants to compare you. Oh, Angel, would you have beaten Steve Sandler? Would you have beaten Rick Hertzkowitz? The top. Would you have beaten the Oberts? Blah blah fucking blah. I'll try to any profanities. Blah blah freaking blah. Right? I'm gonna say yeah. They never played me, so how do you know? How do they know? How do I know that Rick Hertzkowitz, who Mr. Handball, could beat me? I don't think so. I don't believe it until you get on the court. Steve Sandler, 10 national championships? No, I don't believe it. I watch him play. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed with none of these guys. I'm impressed with my game. What are you going to do when I get up? Yeah, you got a nice serve, but what are you going to do when I get up? Your left, and I watched them, like, they have old films on it. I watch your lefts. Nothing as good as mine. You ain't got the same kind of intensity. But until you play me, then I might think about it. But otherwise, I don't think there's anybody out there that was better than me. Buddy was my rival. Yeah, Buddy. Yeah, he took me down. I took your ass down. But I don't think I'm going to walk around saying you were better than me. You weren't better than me. Yeah? Buddy was great. We were the Ali Frazier of the era. But I don't believe that he was better than me. I don't believe nobody was better than me. There's the ego talking. You see what I mean? There's the ego. Because imagine that, right? If I walk around and they say this guy's better than me, and I say, yeah, I believe it, then I guess I wasn't as good as I thought, was I? See? But when they say somebody's better than you from the past, I say, oh wait, that's it. Because that's the belief that I have in my game. Because I knew what I brought to the table, and I don't believe those guys could bring the same shit. Yeah, Buddy was able to bring the same shit to the table. But what I'm telling you, I say the same shit, I say the same shit. I say he don't believe anybody out there could beat him, including me. And I'm saying the same thing. Past, present, or future. Well, present, you know, I'm talking prime to prime. I'm talking with my ball, the pink ball. These guys gotta understand. We wouldn't play with this fucking dead shit. So if you're gonna compare yourself to me, you better bring that fucking thing. Let's see how you do. That's where I won 3 nationals. I was killing everybody. You know, I zipped top players, literally zipped them on one serve. Top, that will destroy 99% of the guys today with that pink ball. On one, they will probably do the same thing to them if they had the chance. So you see my point? So I'm not talking Hertzkowitz that you could beat me in small ball. No, I'm talking beat me my ball. The ball, the pink ball, the small ball. I mean, the time they were holding nationals back in the 60s. Sandler won twice. So, you know, it would have been a great opportunity because Sandler played small game. That ball has been around for ages. But I don't believe that at all until you played me. Then I'll believe it. So to get to that point, that's what I'm talking about. You have to have that kind of ego because if you don't, that means you got fear. You don't believe in yourself. You don't have that kind of confidence. And if you don't have that kind of confidence, then I guess you weren't as good as you thought. But I don't fall into that realm. You know what I mean? I don't fall into that category. My category is, I'm best of all fucking time. Period. Oh, and by the way, like I said, I'm undefeated. Nobody took my USHA National Pinkball Tournament championship away from me because I retired undefeated. So I am, all handball players are defeated, right? Whoever won the King of the Courts, unless he wins it again, he's gonna lose, right? Whoever won the small ball nationals last year, he's gonna lose. I don't lose. My game died, so I'm undefeated. There's nobody out there that's like me. I've been rocking Marciano Handball. You know, they didn't get a chance, so maybe I would have won. Like I told you, I would have won 6 more nationals after winning 3 straight years, right? And 2 gold. So I never had the opportunity. I never peaked. Think about that, right? I'm still a very young man. I won my last nationals I was 28 years old, or maybe 27. And I already got 3 nationals straight, one after another. And I made it to a couple of other singles, tournaments and doubles, whatever the fuck. I never peaked. I never did, because the game died. I was still moving up. And then that's when, the game died and we started playing with the Skybounce pink. But check this out. I wasn't even playing with that ball. I go to Yankee Stadium, they're having a tournament. No, actually, I played in a tournament in Walton High School in singles with the pink Skybounce. I won. Then I went to Yankee Stadium. I went to play there. Guy asked me to play with him, flip. I won. The year after, I played with Buddy. I won. I didn't even play with the ball. So I just carried it over. It was a carryover from once I adjusted to the ball. My game was right back to where it was. So, ego is more or less like confidence. You gotta have confidence. I'm not saying everybody, I always try not to have my confidence break down. You get to bad games, you get to good games, but you always gotta maintain that confidence level. That, okay, I fucked up today, but I'm coming back tomorrow. Now that I fucked up today, I'm gonna fuck up tomorrow. And I'm gonna keep messing up every freaking day. I had a bad year, in handball. I did have one bad year where I just seemed to have lost my game. I was burnt out. You know what I mean? I really felt burnt out. Like, I just didn't have my game that year. You know what I mean? I was still able to win, but yet I just didn't feel the same. I completely burnt out. Too much handball. I didn't have it, but I regained it again. It just came right back, and boom, because I was determined. You get those periods every once in a while.
I heard that Angel Marquez, the ego is so big that even if he loses a regular game once in a while, he will not recognize that.
Yeah, especially with doubles, you get the full. Your partner's always on the court. No, look, I accept my defeats now because I'm retired pretty much. The bottom line, there's no need for me to play in anything. I'm not out there to play in prohibition. I'm not out there to play in tournaments. Because the difference was when I went to tournaments, I knew I was gonna win. You understand? No doubt. I didn't go there to lose. So when I showed up, so going to tournaments today, I can't win. You know what I mean? I can't. Because, I'm way past my prime, of course, so, I accept that, that's fine. Unless it's a rinky-dink tournament that I could find, you know what I mean? Hey, there's a tournament in this park, and I go in there. Oh, yeah, I'm watching everybody. Yeah, I can win this, Bring a guy with me. Yeah, and I've done that a few times, you know what I mean? But, I was still very, very good. So, I'm not saying there aren't tournaments I couldn't still win. But, I don't mean, not open, but some scraggly tournament in some park. I'm not saying it's still not possible. But, you see, there goes the belief. You see what I mean? There goes the ego. Remember, the pride goeth before the fall. You understand what that means, right? The pride goeth before the fall. So you go in there with all this pride, yeah, baby. And then all of a sudden you get your ass kicked. Now you have to accept your fate. You just got whacked. You were in there with all that pride. So that went first. Now you're pretty much done.
Who are who are your best students that came out?
Oh, rookie, really. Rookie Dave Rojas, cricket. I had quite a few. Kid Justin. And a lot of other people that I influenced. That I have paid guys, you know what I mean? But Rookie was, the best. Look, I'm not going to say I spent 24 hours with the kid, It was just a kid that I saw, West 4th Street, went there. I liked the way he sucked, but I watched something about him that I liked, And I told my friend next door to me, I said, look, see that kid, he's going to be the next superstar. And he sucked. But it was something I admired about it. I said, something about this kid, I don't know what it is. He can't play for shit. There's something about him. And, one thing led to another. I took it to tournaments, we chit-chatted and, I showed him a couple of things and, backed him up for money here and there. And the rest is history. So he picked up a lot, the thing about me and him, I believed in him when nobody believed in him. They called him scrub. I believed in him. Even when he lost, I used to tell him, don't worry, kid, it's going to change. It's all right. Angel lost $10. Angel lost 21-1. Angel, the guy gave me 10 points, he fucked me up. Don't worry about it. It's all going to change. And it did. Because I believed in him. But nobody else believed in him. And he believed in himself, see? I put that belief in him. And he had an ego too. Right? He talks a lot of shit. And it paid off. It's like one day I told the kid, when you beat a guy, scratch him off the list when you don't want to play you anymore. Scratch him. He actually wrote a list. And he would show it to me. Look, Angel, look. That guy, he don't want to play me for money anymore. See? That was pretty determined. He would say, I'm going for this guy next. Yeah. So I told him that. So when a guy doesn't want to play anymore, scratch him off the list. And that's exactly what happened. That's how we work. Because I have many guys like that. They would play me for money, then eventually they don't want to play me anymore. Scratch them off the list. They can't take the beatings anymore. So that's how it works. Because that means that shows you you're progressing, you're getting better. See what I mean? That's the point of that. If you just keep letting that guy dominate you, right? If he keeps dominating you, then you ain't learning shit, correct? Right. See how that works? I was, coming up, I was that way too. Guy beat me, I was determined to kick your ass. I come back until I rocked you. One thing, when I was young, I never said no. Top players, whatever, let's go. Or Frankie, hey, Joe, come on, I got you 20 on that guy. Yeah, we'll play. Right. When it was Buddy, when I first met Buddy, I called him out for money. I was a kid. I saw him, he was in Katona. want to play singles? I had him like 12 zip, right? And I'm still a rookie. But then he beat me. But then I said, well, I told him straight up, I said, look, I ain't got no money, but let's run it. Oh man, we gotta play for money. But right there, I told myself, I can beat this kid. I can beat this kid. So it really paid off. But I called him out for money when I was a rookie. Ruben too, the greatest player of all time, calls me out. Did I say no? No. Okay. Frankie was there. He put me up. No, actually, no, he wasn't there. What happened was I got lucky because I was in Crotone, I was in Ever Park, and I was playing for money. And I came there, and I had some money in my pocket. So, actually, I made a mistake. $10 was worth $70. So we played for 10. I said $5. He went like this to me. He started walking out the park. I said 10, and he went like he froze. And he came back to the park, and I beat him. So yeah, $10 was the equivalent of $70. So that was a lot of money, man. Because I ate good after. I was like, but it's funny how you think about that back in the days, Why am I eating so good for $10 fucking dollars? Simple. Because it was worth $70. So I guess if I was winning $20 a game, I was winning over $100 back in the day. So ego's important. You gotta have it. Arrogance all comes with the package. You know what I mean? I'm never gonna lose that. Am I humble? Not really. I never had my slice of humble pie because it comes from the belief. Yeah, I accept the fact that I ain't who I am, but that don't change the fact that I know who I was. You see my point? Now I play to enjoy myself, to stay in shape. That's what it's all about. I got my priorities set. Everything is good.
How do you think nowadays the leaders of the sport should be? About this state of the sport, how the leaders should set an example?
Right now, the sport, I don't, like I was discussing before, the sport, and like the Don said in my last Facebook post, you get the advertisers, it's good. But you can't have advertising without crowds. You need participation, you need crowds. It's not players. You need the freaking people watching. Look behind you. Those are all players. There's not one person in this sitting over there that is not a player, that is not, just coming out the street. Now, if we ran a tournament here, right? Look around you. Okay, we got that big building right there. Okay, fine. We got some residential houses here, right? Now, if you run something special, is it going to attract every single person in that building? You can get a decent crowd, right? And that's the problem with these tournaments. Is, they're having, like I said, they're having a $10,000 tournament, right? $10,000 singles. That's decent money. But in that park, when they ran that tournament last year, there was nobody watching. Zero. Only people in there were the players. And this was in Astoria, Queens. It was crowded around us, tons of shopping. But they don't think about that. They don't think about getting the average Joe to come check this shit out. Right? Because the average Joe is gonna pay for that food. The average Joe is gonna, and by the way, that's one thing I wanna know too. Why are the players paying for food? You just paid You just paid $40 to join a tournament of 50 or 60, and you still got to pay for food? That should be free. That should be free for the players. Everybody's paying for food. Right, where's that? That don't make any sense. If I'm playing in a 4-wall tournament, I already paid for the food. You understand? My entry fee is paying for the hospitality, not paying for the tournament and still paying for the food. Bad mistake. Now, if you got people on the outside, just regular stragglers, they can pay for the food. You see how that works? You open up a little area there, but the players should not have to pay for food. People who come to watch need to pay for food. That's how it works. But there's no advertising. at all. If they are, it's rinky-dink. But without advertising, this game will go, it's going nowhere. Yeah, sometimes you see it in the news. What the hell's the news? 15 minutes of fame. Right?
Yes.
That's all it is. 15 minutes of fame. Murderers get fucking 15 minutes of fame, right? Today you know them, tomorrow they're done. They're gone. And that's how it works. Yeah? So that's how it is. I don't see it going nowhere because tournaments are not going to do that. I spoke about this before and I'll speak about it again. Once you run a tournament, let's say King of the Courts, you run a tournament, right? In a specific, like Edison High School, where I used to play at in Queens. Once that tournament's over, that park is deserted. Nobody else. You know, back in the day when we ran a tournament, it was basically all the guys from the park already there. You understand? Everybody that came from other parks just made it better. And once the tournament ended, the park was still crowded with all the regular guys. See? Today you run tournaments, once it's over, the park is dead again. So what did you do? How did you enhance this park? How did you make this park better? You do shit. So you see my point? They don't think, everybody's in a box. They don't think beyond that box. You put yourself in a box, what happens? You can't escape. I'm in a box, I can't get out. But if you don't put yourself in a box, you're always looking for openings, see? You know, advertising. Spectators. Forget about the money, that has shit to do with it. I'm talking about the people. Now, if you think outside the box, you're 100%, you're okay. But if you don't, you're fucked. They don't treat it as a business. You understand? They don't treat it as a business. Handball is not treated as a business. It's, you know, yeah, let me in for $5. You got it. Let me see. I'm coming. 15 guys just walk in late. It's okay. We'll wait. They don't treat it. It has to be treated as a business. You understand? As a business. Fuck your friends. If I got a business, fuck you. See? It's my business. It's my money. When I get settled down and things are starting to get better, then I'll help you out. But until then, I need to make money, I need to make profit, or even break even is good. When you're breaking even, you don't mind a loss every once in a while. Right? But if you start seeing progress, it's good. Okay, I broke even today. Perfect. I'm making profit now. Good. That means it's moving on along. So they don't treat it as a business. They don't see their wins, their losses. They're just trying to go for their wins and their profits. Even if it's $1, it's still profit, right? Not bad. So handball is not treated as a business. So how's it ever going to go anywhere? You have to have a guy with a brain. I think we're not very smart, you know, straight up. Handball players, we're not smart. I'm not saying we're stupid, but we're not smart.
How do you think a handball tournament should be organized for the players and for the spectators? Like, what should be included in the tournament?
I'm sorry, say that again?
How do you think a handball tournament should be organized, like a good handball tournament?
With 100% control. See this park?
Yeah.
It should be, if everybody has to have a permit, use a permit. You know what I mean? Get a permit where you have control. If you don't have a permit, you don't have no control. You understand? Guys can come walk into the park, they can do whatever they want. Because right now, without a permit to do something here, guess what? Anything could happen. You can't tell nobody anything in this park. But when you have control with a permit, I can lock that park up right now. This whole park, today this park belongs to me. I'm gonna do whatever I want. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna organize it the way I want it. Right? I'm gonna charge people to come in, I'm gonna put food over there. Perfect. They run everything just like, you know, it's an empty park. They do whatever they want. So that means that anybody can do whatever they want. They can come in here, they can smoke their shit, smoke a cigarette, drink their beer, make noise. What the hell are you gonna do? Right? Nothing. So you don't have you really don't have control. So you can't control everybody here. Matter of fact, if a guy gets a little rowdy, you can throw him out the park, right? Okay, if you catch anybody, you'll throw you out the park, because once you have a permit, you have access to the rangers, and they will come. You know, I have a permit here. We got a little beef here. The park rangers will show up. Remember, those guys they're just policemen wearing green. So that's what's wrong. They just take advantage of empty parks. But like I said, you take a lot of chances when that happens, because guys want to be rowdy. What are you going to tell them? Get out. It's a public park. And you know what? They could throw that on you. You got a permit? No. Oh, wait, excuse me. Let me call the rangers here. The guy, he's trying to throw us out, but he's running a tournament, but you don't have a permit. They'll come and they'll shut you down and throw you out of the park. See? So you don't have no control. Anybody can stop a tournament. Guys in the building there, that person right there, you know, you don't like the noise, call them up. Rangers come, you got a permit? No, get out. See my point?
Yeah.
So you don't have no control. And like I said, you know, you're gambling. It's chancy. You know, it's a gamble. Am I going to have full control, or are they going to be controlling me? Is it the inmates running the asylum? You know? Am I the warden? No. Yeah, a lot of tournaments you got. Matter of fact, I think it was in a Buddha tournament last year. Or somebody they had a big fight. Had a fight going on, something like that. You see what I mean? Guys getting rowdy, getting all excited. Oh, excuse me, I got a permit. Get out. And another thing too, they have to respect the guy who's running. The more you get respected as a tournament director, the better for you. Oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. You know, his tournaments are nice. You know, we all want to participate. He's not letting this happen and that happen. Okay, good. But once they see anarchy, they really don't respect you. A lot of these guys that run the tournaments are not respected at all. They think they are, but they're not. They don't fall into favor, you know, they don't give a guy a break. All of a sudden there's animosity, they don't like him now. You know, oh man, he fucking with me. You know, he didn't let me in because I was 2 minutes late. He didn't do this because he was, you see? And, you know, that starts to accumulate. Oh, you know, yeah, you're right, he fucked up. So, without that kind of control, it's going to be the same old shit. And it's been the same old shit. And it's going to continue to be the same old shit. Yeah, they're running all the big tournaments again. You know, like the big blue ballers, the king of the court, you know, they're all coming back. But again, I'll say, big fucking deal. If you ain't got your advertisers there, if you don't have your crowds there, you know, beyond the players, you know, you're just doing this, we're running to the same sequence over and over again. Mm-hmm. You know what the funny part about that is? It's such a simple solution. But, you know, think about it, if it's a business, you gotta have that business acumen, you know what I mean? What do I get out of it? See? If I'm gonna put this for you, what am I gonna get out of it? That's how business works. What the fuck am I getting out of this shit? I want something from this. So, yeah, I'll put my signs up there. You know, what do I get out of it? So you're gonna have to guarantee me that people are gonna start buying my product. You know, that when I look at the end of the day, you come up to me and say, yeah, you know, they bought this, they bought that, they bought this, they were buying all this, you know, I got all these telephone numbers, you know what I mean? I got all these orders. The bottom line, you know, it's got to be treated as a business, that's it. And with utmost control. And you do that with a permit. Get a permit, man. Don't run tournaments without permits. Because it's risky, it's a roll of the dice. You know what I mean? You just never know. Somebody might not like what you're doing. Matter of fact, that happened, a couple of park last year. I think somebody in the area didn't like just the guys being there, and they threw oil on the floor, they rolled all over the walls. You know, this was continuous in this park, and they ended it by throwing oil all over the park. Somebody in the neighborhood just didn't like the fact that these guys were there. See what I mean? Not everybody's gonna like what goes on. Not everybody's gonna like if you win a tournament here, it might be too noisy for these people. You know what I mean? You really don't like. It might be too rowdy. Not everybody likes what happens in a quiet park.
What arrangements for players and for spectators you think should be in a tournament? So they are interested to come back.
Well, place to sit, number one. Bleachers, you could rent bleachers, I guess. You know, they come, you fold them up, get some bleachers. That's where your people sit. That's where they, the people who pay. And another thing too is then you have to educate people. Not everybody knows the rules of handball, and all people see is a bunch of freaking guys like, what do you see over there? You see a bunch of guys just hitting wood. A lot of guys don't understand. They just see guys hitting wood, but they'll know, oh, that's paddleball. But they don't know the rules. They don't know why they're hitting that. Same thing with handball. A lot of people don't know the rules. So would you watch a tennis match, but you don't know anything about tennis? How many people in those stadiums know tennis? They all do, right? It's huge. So I'm gonna say, I'm gonna give a 95% people who watch a tennis match know tennis, know the rules, play tennis, buy tennis products. Same thing with baseball. How many people in that stadium know baseball? I'm gonna go 95%. You gotta give a little bit of people in a stadium full of 100,000 people know baseball, football, soccer. You know, soccer stadiums full of 100,000 soccer people. So how many people those? Same thing. They all know soccer. They all go to a boxing match. They know boxing. That's why you go. They come to a handball court. They don't know shit. They don't know what the hell's going on. You just see a bunch of guys hitting a racquetball all over the court. So players need to be educated. If they're not educated, spectators need to be educated. But how do you do that? The rules can be very complex if you really read them. You know, if you go online, you try to read the handball rules, the 1 wall, 4 walls, and all that. They can be very complex. See, people will say, well, you know what, the rule is very simple. You get up there, the guy hits at 21 points, and they make it simplified, but it's not really that simple. When you see how complex they can be when you try to read them, because the language that it's put in, it's not nobody's writing it in a street lingo. Like I just said, they're not saying, whoa, like I just said, well, the guy gets up 1, 2, 3, then he gets down, and no, it's not like that. It's not like that because it's written in that language. Because obviously, the official rules, you can't just write it like a guy coming off the street. And that's very difficult. You can do that through, something like that would have to be through mass media, forget about it. It just, nobody cares. One time handball was in the newspapers. It really was. Big newspapers, New York Times. I'm talking about matches that were done. They were in all the papers. The results, you could see them. And now the newspapers don't give a shit. The only thing you would see, it's not even there anymore. You would see the high school handball scores, with school. They would put that in the paper. Occasionally they would, like the King of the Court, you see the article, yours truly, New York Times, you know what I mean? But again, it's only 15 minutes of fame. I'm happy to have 15 minutes of fame in the New York Times. So that's great. You know what I mean? But it's 15 minutes of fame, not something continuous. So without that, without educating, and like I'll say it again, the spectators, people, they don't give a shit. Whatever generation we had is gone. Where our parents used to bring us to the handball court, like my father, right? Instead of going to the playground, they would send the kids to the playground while the fathers were playing handball. That's how it worked. Today's generation, they don't give a shit about the kids anymore. Not the kids. They don't give a shit about taking their kids to the handball court unless they're using it for tennis, playing games, using them as playgrounds, soccer, That's the only reason they take them there. They don't take them. They're not taking their kids to the handball courts anymore at all. They're taking them somewhere else, and they're leaving them here. And before, they take them there. No more. No more. Like the swings. You know, the swings used to be really popular. I don't know. Huh? What do you say?
It's empty. It's empty.
See nothing but an empty swing. They modernized the playgrounds too, so that really didn't help. You know, when back in the day we had the swings, the monkey bars. Okay, look at how they modernized the parks now with workout areas. You got one here, and then you got the brand new one that they built over there. So the playgrounds have been modernized to suit the kids more. There's no need for them to go to the handball courts anymore. Right? And you find this everywhere. So, you know, all the street games are gone. Stick ball, punch ball. You know, when kids used to be playing stick ball in the streets, that actually contributed to the fact that they will go to the handball courts too. So, take that. That's another equation that's been taken away. The street games traded for what? Video games. We'd be playing punch ball, like I said, we'd be playing stick ball, all schoolyards, you know what I mean, with schoolyards and handball courts. So while the kids were playing punch ball, stick ball, and everything else, you know, stoop ball, they were running to the handball courts too, because they had the same ball. The same ball suited every purpose. The same ball, the Spalding with the punch ball, stoop ball, stick ball, you know, two types of stick ball where you pitch to the guy, and, you know, and the other stick ball you play in the street. They had two types. You would pitch, and the other one was you would bounce the ball and hit it. You know, nobody pitched to you. That was the one that you played in the streets. The one that you played in the parks was like the square you got on the wall down there. You know, you pitch to the guy, and you have a couple of guys outside. I don't know, and it's a shame because handball is the only game left of the street games. Believe it or not, besides basketball, but I'm talking about ball. Handball is the only game left. All the street games that use a ball are gone. Check that out. See, so that Spalding ball you showed was more than what you're looking at. That Spalding ball was used for other purposes besides handball. It just happened to be convenient for the times. So come the racquetball, the games are gone. Nobody even remembers those games. They look at you like you're crazy. Oh, I played punch ball with that. What? Stoop ball. You know, stick ball. Yeah, once that disappeared, all we got left is handball. And we're losing that little by little.
Mr. Roger, can you please tell us more about you, we know you're an artist. Can you please tell us why it's important to create art and what do you do?
Well, art for me is my natural gift from the big man upstairs. You know, not handball, not music because I had to work on music, so I developed a pretty good ear for it. But art is my natural gift. That's what I was born with. I've always been able to draw. I just had the knack for it. So creating is easy because it's funny because I'm able to see things, create things, and I find it very simple to do. I'm not the traditional artist. I'm a rebel artist, meaning I didn't go to school. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to use this. I don't want to paint like everybody else or draw like everybody else. I have my own unique style and my own unique technique, which I learned. I picked up a lot of things from other artists, from the great art masters, and added it to my repertoire. And it's always something I've always done. It's what I really wanted to be. My dream was to be an artist. My dream was to be a musician because I used to sing. When I was in junior high school, I was singing the chorus. So we used to travel from school to school. I was a soloist, so I was getting pretty good at it. And my father was a musician too. So he used to have his own band. And art also, I excelled in. The only two subjects I excelled in, everything else I did. because I just didn't pay too much attention to everything else after junior high school. From high school, I was refused. My father didn't let me go to art, music and art and design, which both my teachers were telling me I should go. And I won 2 awards for art and music in junior high school, and that shattered my dreams. But it didn't kill my talent. My talent's still there. I never lose it. That's why people find it difficult to draw. I find it very easy. I find it easy because it's just something that I got. Sometimes I don't know. It's something I never have to learn. It's just there. But of course, you always want to refine your technique and learn your own technique, of course. And once you learn your own technique, it's good because then you don't paint like everybody else. An eye looks like an eye if 1 million people painted it. Then there's one. But if you make it with your own technique and your own touch, it just stands out from all those other eyes. People don't know it. It's like like I said, it's like those dolls I create. People are overwhelmed. They've never seen anything like it. But it's the uniqueness. It's what I put into them, which is a lot of myself. I put myself into my work. That's what being a true artist, in my idea, is you put yourself into it. You put a part of yourself into it. That's what attracts people. Sometimes I gotta dredge in myself, meaning I gotta go into the subconscious mind. I gotta go where I put all the shit, and the crap, because I need that inspiration. I'm serious. Right now, I'm looking at cancer patients dying. That's the first thing I'm looking for now. I went from doing a pointillistic of famous women in paintings to cancer patients dying. That's my next work because I needed that, because sometimes death I find death to be an inspiration. I don't mean dying. I mean the process of death, the process of suffering. I've always been intrigued by it. As far as the black arts is concerned, let me tell you a story. I don't know if it's going to suit here, but when I was refused to go to art design school like that, I rebelled not only against myself, but I rebelled against God. So I went the other way. I started studying the black arts. I would walk around with a book on demonology. I would read on the witches of Salem Village. Even learn how to cast spells. So I got really into that because I sensed that actually inspired my artwork, by the way. Believe it or not. Just like horror magazines did, Because I used to read the eerie magazines and stuff like that. So I got really into that for a while. And that's also kind of my inspiration also because I know both sides of the street. Then I became a Christian afterwards, so and then I realized that that was the way to go. But I understand both sides because I've been there. You know what I mean? So that was my escape. So I would wear black all the time. You know what I mean? But actually, my father once found me with that book and he smashed it in my face, full power. He said, "What the fuck?" Boom! They had a picture of Satan on the front, right? The horns and everything like that. They found the book and smashed it in my face. I just looked at him. Because, accuse me, Father, you were the one that got me into this fucking realm, you know what I mean? But yeah, for him doing that to me, he's the guy that got me into the black arts, right? But yeah, he finds a book on Satanism and smashed it in my face. Because we were typical Puerto Ricans, you know what I mean? We were typical Catholics, which meant, a lot of statues, a lot of photos, a lot of pictures, little altar at home, pray every fucking night while your father beats the shit out of you, or starves you, or tortures you. Oh, let's go pray every fucking night. Really? Blah, 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 blah. Me and my two brothers while we're crying. Blah, 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 blah. Fucking bullshit. Wham, belts. Go pray. Okay, blah, blah, fucking blah. stuff like that really got me upset. And maybe that's why I went the other way, because I gave up. But that inspired me. You know, people always ask me, my creations, my dolls, where do you get these thoughts? Well, there it is. You know, there it is. What do you think? I keep those things in my subconscious mind, so I'm able to bring them out and then put them back. When I need to be inspired, boom. And that's why, you know, I'm doing these pictures on the cancer patients, and I'm like, you know, I get cringy. You know? But I tell myself, I gotta do this. Yeah. See, these are my thing. This is the woman with the fly in her head. Famous painting, by the way. There's actually a story behind this fly. I'll explain it later. People will probably be familiar with this. This is my style. Not the technique was done by Surratt, but it's my style. You know, my thing. My mixture of colors. I'm incorporating the white. When I sign it, it's done. This is a witch, actually. Yeah, that's a witch. Very somber stare. Decided to put a little bug there. I do these, believe it or not, I do these one after another. Like I'll complete it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll do it. Then I'll grab. I'm inspired. I'll grab a pencil, do a sketch on another one. Then another. I'll do 2 different sketches and start working on all of them at the same time. Because I'm really inspired. I get inspired. People have a hard time being inspired. I get inspired everywhere. I never lose inspiration because life is inspiration. This is, you know, she's holding a decapitated head, ready to put it inside there.
That's her husband?
Yeah, I believe it's a god. I forgot the name of this one. This is a kind of a Norman Rockwell type woman. If you notice, she has a little smile.
She does.
This one's kind of cute. It makes me laugh. And then here we go. Cancer patient. That's it. You notice the mood changes now. Not signed yet because I haven't decided if I want to finish it. Another one. See this? And this is my latest. I'm just doing this one now. And, I don't think I have one. Now this one, you know, it's a dying patient, but so I consider it like, you know, the clock represents time running out. That's why I put the clock on top. And on this one, I did something different, whereas instead of putting the black in between the colors, I added just colors and colors. And I still need some work. I have to do a hand, and that'll be it. Then I have to erase the. You know what's great about this? Like this, you can see there's still pencil there, right? This is from the sketch, and my sketch is a bullshit. It's like, but I follow the pattern. What I'm doing, you know, the lines could be all over, but yet I follow the pattern. So I do a quick, not so great sketch, but just enough that I can follow the pattern and then correct the pattern and come out with a really nice drawing. The luxury of doing dots is that if you make a mistake, it's easy to fix because of the dots. You know what I mean? If I make a mistake in a dot here, I can always add, like increase the lines or do something. So mistakes are very rare. I rarely make mistakes. You know, I try my best to finish it. You know what I mean? If I start seeing it, I don't like it, I'll keep working on it and working on it and working on it until eventually, like it takes an awful lot for me to go, you know. But I can tell when I'm not crazy about it. And believe me, at home, you know, in a case, I have at least over 500 drawings. But I draw small, so I keep them all in a case like that. I have paintings also, but basically all my drawings are like that. I have over 100-something dolls, but I keep them in a box. Gotta keep them from walking around haven't sold anything. I always get offered, you know, for the dollars especially. But my dream was to, it still is, I haven't forsaken it, is, you know, to have a gallery, something like that, where I can show people my work. I don't want to wait till I'm dead. I don't want to be Vincent Van Gogh or something like that, you know what I mean? Wait till you're dead. I try to look at successful artists, and that's really what you should do, you know? Don't look at the guys that were failures. Van Gogh was a failure. You know? Vincent Van Gogh was a failure. I'm not going to say he was a nut, he had mental issues, but he was a failure. Meaning he sold one painting. Oh, now he's dead, now you're a genius? Right? Oh, he's a genius now. He's dead, so who cares? I try to look at like Bacon, you know what I mean? He was successful in life. So the best thing to look at is I'm looking at painters like Michelangelo or Leonardo, you know what I mean? That were successful in life, not death. You know, Velasquez, Goya, those guys. Court painters. Don't get me wrong, I like Vincent, but you know, it's very negative. Like Toulouse-Lautrec, yeah, he was a freak, but anybody, actually, he had some success, but his life sucked. It's funny, some can have success but still be shitty, you know, have shitty lives. Every great painter has a story, and that's basically it. It's funny, but you know, Picasso, they all have great stories behind them. But do you need a great story to be a success in art? I believe so. You know, what's your background? Blah blah blah. How did you get to this point? You know, I don't think all painters and artists have success. Some have natural talent, but you know, you have to have a great story because it really makes a difference. You know, but you gotta. I believe I have a very good story, but I'm not successful yet in art. In my mind, I am. You know, I'm trying for greatness. I'm close. I can see it. But I don't want to be, I'm great, and then not be recognized. But that's my fault because I don't go out there. I don't have the starving artist syndrome. Meaning, you know, I got a job. You know, I'm okay. You know, I'm doing good. Been doing good for years. So it's tough when you're struggling because that mantra of the struggling artist sticks to everybody. Everybody's like, oh, you're an artist. You know what they think? You ain't making a living. Because that's what it's all about. The struggle. Everybody believes that an artist is in the corner selling his work for nickels and dimes. Every artist is struggling. And I can understand why, because in a way it's true. How many artists, check out, you go down to like the village when they have the big art show, block after block after block, people selling their wares. Why are they selling their wares? I guess you're not successful, are you? If you were successful, you'd most likely be in a gallery somewhere with your paintings there, showcasing. So that mantra sticks, but I'm not a struggling artist. I used to be, but not anymore. You know, I've thought about it. Maybe when I retire, I'll consider it. I get offers a lot to people want to buy my wares, but I ask myself, what bother? Do I do art for me or do I do art for people? What do I do it for? I don't know.
A little bit more about the dolls, the way you represented, like the process. What can you tell us?
The dolls. Let me show you. But I have to show one of these. It's something I saw. The strangest thing about them. Years ago, it had nothing to do with the Cabbage Patch dolls or anything like that. You know what I mean? I saw, you know, I walked into a store and there was this big doll and it was made of nylons. I looked at it. It had like two little dots, a little dot for a nose, you know, little mouth, big, sitting in a chair. And I looked at it and I went home and started making it. And I was shocked how I made it. I just took a needle and thread, started sewing, and I looked at it, and all of a sudden I started seeing millions of dollars. I said, holy shit. I said, wow, that's nice. It just flabbergasted me how I made that. I said, wow. That was it. I just kept perfecting them. And like these guys. No, I'm sorry. No. Now, believe it or not, these were 3 guys were the ones that got over almost 5,000 likes and reactions, and 500 and almost 500 shares. Just these 3 guys on just one group that I went to that had to do with sewing. You know, I like my masks now. That's my latest. I call him the singer. I have to stop because it's too much. You know, I put them all in a big box like that, which is great. You know, I took them all up from display in my apartment. I said, just put them in a box and keep them. People have terror. They invoke a lot of emotion from people. People are scared of them. I've been kicked out of groups because people complain because maybe they're too intense, and or some it just that the group administrator who has to check because the likes they're just unbelievable. They just keep on coming. Oh, wonderful! I love it. I used to be like this. Non-stop. When I go to them, I'm seeing like hundreds of likes, and I love it, and wow, and thank you, and I'm going, and I'm overwhelmed. I've been overwhelmed so many times. That's why I'm not putting them up for a while, because I get completely overwhelmed, and with the how people react to them. You know, it's beautiful. You know, whether good or bad. And that was it. It's just like all it is my work in 3 dimensions. So it's same drawings I showed you, 3 dimensions. Because you can feel a drawing, you know, you can feel its texture, but you can't look at it. I don't like clay. Clay is messy. I don't like to work with clay. You know, and with clay, you really have to get detailed. You know, if I'm doing a clay figure, I really got to get details for making eyes and everything. It's totally different. You know, you got to go inside the eye. You know, you got to go up the nose. You know, through the ears. It's very complex, and so I find the doll making a lot easier. You know what I mean? And because I can create better and cleaner with a needle than using anything else. My tool is a needle. I can see everything I need to make, and every crease it says something to me. You know what I mean? A crease, a crease, a crease, a crease. So once I start working on it, I see all these images in the creases that I make, and that's why I'm able to create them. You know, it comes to my mind. You know, I'm like, I already created it up here, and now it's just a matter of grabbing my needle and start doing it. But as I'm working, it changes. You know. It starts to change because I start seeing other things, and you know, I don't try, it happens. You know, make one different than the other. None is the same. Out of 100 and something, and I'm not kidding me. I threw a whole shitload away, where I broke them down and made it because it just became too much. I just keep improving them. You know, big deal. I throw them away. I don't care. I got them here. Yeah. You throw them? Yes. Who cares? They're up here. Yeah, they're not gone. Would I tear them up, throw them away, burn them, throw them in a pit of fire? They're up here. Nowhere else. They'll always be here. So they'll never be lost. You know, they'll never be lost. I guess when I demise, but they'll always be here. Every single one. Yeah, so they'll never be lost because I keep them up here. But you know, the reactions I get are insane, unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. Handball players don't get that kind of reaction at all. You know, I mean, 5,000. I mean, shit, and non-stop. Likes. Oh, yeah. Thank you. I'm literally overwhelmed. I've happened to me so many times and kicked out of groups because the administrator couldn't check up on them. You know, something they gotta check. They just kicked me out without even telling me. It just happened recently. I got kicked out again. from another group because they were being overwhelmed so much from my reactions and the likes of people, or maybe the jealousy. But I take that as a compliment. You know? I take it as a compliment. Right? You do. If that happens to, imagine that happens to you, you're being kicked out, not because your work sucks, because your work is just so overwhelming to people that they have to stop it. So I understand.
You mentioned you looked up to artists, and there are many people that look up to you and your career, and they want to be like you. The question is, how important is to set an example, the right example?
In this day and age, of the, you know, when it comes to handball, I'm gonna say it straight up.
Yes.
Handball is a selfish sport. It's always about me, especially when you're the top guy. The proof of the pudding is nobody's teaching. We don't have clinics, right? Nobody's out there except for Paul Williams. But like I said, Paul Williams, he's got the ICHA, Inner City Handball. He does it off of this shit. You know, he does what he does, you know, in his own way. Right? He's mentors a lot of kids, you know, he scholarships. He does it, he's been doing it for ages. Paul Williams has the right formula, but he keeps it away from this crap. So that's what's missing. Mentorship, which doesn't exist. You know, clinics, which doesn't exist. Handball is about me, and I dig it. I get it. You know what I mean? Look, I'm a top player. Why am I going to teach another top player who's going to take me down one day? That's how it works. You know what I mean? I want to keep what I got. Whether I'm number 1 or number 8 or somewhere up there, I'm going to work on my game. I don't want to teach these guys because I'm teaching 4 guys. Who knows? A couple of years from now, those guys are kicking my ass. See? Your dream just went out the window because you decided to teach somebody else, and now he's better than you. It's no guarantee that guy's not gonna, you know, it's not guaranteed that he's not gonna want to kick your ass anyway, you know what I mean? But that's beside the point. That has nothing to do with it. You're teaching a guy. Mentorship it's beyond that. This is a sport. You're mentoring, but you have to mentor them in their lives also. You know what I mean? Stay away from that. Stay away from this. You know how it is, right? Stuff like that. But mentorship can go a long way depending on how you do it. But handball, unfortunately, is all about me. All about me. The top players don't teach anybody. Nobody teaches nobody. I took rookie, right? I was on. See, it didn't matter with rook because I was kind of on the way down anyway. You know, I've done what I had to do, so it didn't really matter anymore at the time. I wasn't too worried about my reputation. Yeah. So he was the next guy. Then he had Gio, or no, you know, who became a top guy. See what I mean? So it worked out okay. Angel, Rookie, Gio, and then whoever else followed those guys. Davo followed Gio. See? But handball is very selfish. You know, the Irish know how to do it properly. The English are doing it good. You know, they got their own little, they run like schools. The Irish has been doing that for centuries as far as teaching kids. You see that kids play? Fucking tremendous. They gotten into one wall, you know. So Colombia just opened its first, you know, one wall. The Ecuadorians are doing it. I mean, they don't have as many players as we do. Maybe Ireland does. But they have the right formula and full wall. The USHA does it right. We don't. Because we're not organized. We don't have an organization, one. We don't have one ring to rule them all. Okay? We need more than, we need to be organized to a point where only one person is in charge. Like the old USHA with Kunla. I'm gonna say this because I said this a million times, and let me say it one more million times. Handball in the beginning was the AAU. What is the AAU? It's the Amateur Athletic Union. What does that mean? They're still around, by the way. You know, they're Olympics and all that shit. They govern all amateur sports to this day. That means you can't make money. because you're an amateur. You make $1, you're a pro. Now come the USA chief, Robert Kendall, millionaire, owns a business in Chicago called Community Building. This guy is not just a million. Now check it out. He's a millionaire in the 1950s. What does that tell you? He's probably a billionaire. Who's a handball freak? He starts his own organization, goes up against the AAU. The AAU says, fuck you, keep it. He gets all the best players from New York especially, but most of the top guys are from here. Brings them to Chicago to work for him. Starts a pro tour. Pays $100,000 for the prizes in 1950s. That's a lot of money. Players like Paul Haber, they didn't have to work.
It's $1 million.
They didn't have to work. They were being, Handball was good enough to support them. They had houses. He probably paid for their house. He probably, if they're going to Chicago to work for him, he probably got them homes. Homes weren't that expensive at the time. You could probably buy a house for fucking couple $1,000, right? So, but with the money he had, no problem. And that's how the handball money started. He put money into the sport. My point there is that's what we need. We need somebody with that kind of clout and that kind of loot. And I knew millionaires that played handball. Lenny. Guy owned a whole shitload of stores all over New York called the Mail Shop and a couple of them. He was a multimillionaire. He built 2 indoor places in Brooklyn, Take 1 and Take 2. Beautiful establishments for paddleball. You know, he didn't build them for handball, but every weekend, I actually worked for the guy. But every weekend we used to go play at Take 1 in Brooklyn, all of us for money game. He used to like to play for money. He always played doubles with me. Come on, Angel, let's play. I'll back you up. You win, you keep. We lose, fuck you. Right? So, but he didn't put shit into the game. He loved to play, but he was an asshole. You know what I mean? But that was an opportunity right there. But he built those places for paddle. He didn't give a shit. He was a nut job. But somebody like him would have been great if he really put the money into the sport at the time. But you know, Lenny didn't give a shit. But what I'm saying is that's the kind of guy you needed. That's the kind of guy we need. Somebody like that. Not no fucking nickels and dimes guys. The bigger your tournaments, the more somebody's going to be interested. You put a tournament for $100,000 first place, somebody's going to pay attention. News, a lot of people, investors, people are going to pay attention. Wow, $100,000, we got to go check that out. Until it gets to that point, then. Because, you know, you got to, like I said, if we treat it as a business, fine. But again, we fall back into the selfishness. You're promoting the game, but you're not promoting the players. Like you're not getting a new generation of players around with the youth. It's the kids that are going to bring this forward. So you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, bro. I don't see it. Buddy said it years ago. He says they asked him, "Do you think this game will take off?" He said, "No." I said, "Why?" Because of the shit that goes on. No. And nobody's gonna want to put money because of all the crap that goes on in the sport. 20 years later, it's the same shit. You're talking about the Big Blue Move documentary. No.
Speaking of it, how important is it for the sport and for health not to smoke weed and drink beers and so on?
Look, now that it's legalized, it's do whatever you want, but do it. All I'm saying is do it outside the park. When there's a tournament, don't bring it in the park. And that's where the permit comes in handy again, because again, if the guy's smoking all the way down there and then the wind comes over there, you're gonna run all the way down there to tell that guy not to smoke, and he's gonna tell you to stick it up your ass. Then you're gonna have to have cops involved. The only way you can do it is you're gonna have to have maybe hire off-duty cops, like some people do. You know what I mean? But that's what I mean. That's what it's called. It's too late now anyway. It's too late. You know what I mean? Because already I believe that handball has that stigma already. That people say handball players, all they ever do is come to the park and smoke weed. That's it. And I'm sure the parents know that too. So the stigma's already been, you know, the torch has been lit. I believe you can't put that torch out. It's too late. Because the stigma is there. But like I said, I can't, you know, it's been legalized, so I can't say nothing about it. But what I do recommend is just, you know, you want to smoke, take a walk. That's it. You know, if there's a tournament, just take a walk. Do it somewhere else. Do it before you get to the park. Think about that, right? Before you get to the park, smoke it on your way here, whatever the fuck. You do whatever you want to do. Let's stay out at the park. I'm not condoning it, but there's not much I can do about it now. You know what I mean? They shut my mouth. You know, the only reason to legalize it because it's worth an awful lot of money. Gotta get workers, gotta get places to grow it. That's $1 billion, you're looking at $1 billion, maybe $1 trillion business. So it's all about the cash. They don't give a understand this people don't give a fuck about you if you die with that shit. It's all about the do-re-mi, it's all about the money. And that, legalizing that is $1 billion business. Look, I'm sure, I know there are people out there that need it because they have problems, you know, cancer, whatever. I dig it. But I also dig the fact that they're doing it because it's worth a lot of money. You know, Mike Tyson opened up. Shannon Briggs, they got their own farms now. A lot of money involved in that business. So they don't give a shit about you, people. They don't give a fuck about you. All they care about is money. And now that it's legalized, we're all going to support that habit. Thanks to the government, because we're all going to make them more rich. Like I said, you need workers, you need people to grow it, you need seeds, you need to get blah, blah, fucking blah, 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 blah.
Is that the same reason they start wars, I guess? It's worth a lot of money?
Yeah, it's all about the money. It makes, you know, it makes sense though. I could dig it. You know, it makes sense. You legalize something like that, it makes sense. Look, they tried to stop alcohol back in the days, you know, with prohibition. But what did that do? You got the gangsters. Put the gangsters in business. Guys like Al Capone, Lucky Luciano, those guys. It made the gangsters ultra powerful. First they started with speakeasies, you know, let's sell it in these hidden areas. And then they decided, you know what? We'll just fucking rob trucks and we'll sell the real deal. And that's exactly what happened. It brought the gangsters into fruition. It made them powerful. It put billions of dollars in their pocket. Thanks to the fact that they decided, let's not have any alcohol. Why do you think they brought it back? They figured, you fucked up, and they knew they did. You stop something, you start something. Isn't that crazy? Where this is going to go, as far as the legalization of cannabis, to be more politically correct, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But me being a user at one time, you know, way back in like 40 years ago, I understand that it, you know, it does have its side effects. You know what I mean? You feel time drags on, you know, your mouth gets fucking dry, you lose all your fucking teeth if you don't have, you know. It makes you hungry, you get munchies, that's not good for your weight. Oh, and the worst part, it makes you paranoid. Those are the symptoms of marijuana use. You know how many times I almost fainted in the subway? I once got in the subway, I started sweating bullets. You know why? Because I thought everybody was staring at me. And they weren't. I was standing up. I started pouring sweat. It happened to me a few times. I got so paranoid because I walked in the train, weeded up. I almost blacked out a few times. I was ready to tell the person in front of me, look, can I sit down? I'm ready to fucking collapse. It happened to me a few times. I got so paranoid. Oh, and panic attacks if you're not used to it. I remember when I first did it, I had a panic attack. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I did it with my girlfriend once, my first time. It was cool. And the second time, I did it by myself in a park, in Arthur Park. I didn't know what. I ran up to a guy and I said, look, brother, I just smoked some weed. I don't know what the fuck is going on. What's going on? And he looked at me, I said, look, every time I talk, I can't, the words keep advancing. I'm telling him all the symptoms, He says, oh, Angel, you just fucked up. Take it easy. I called my girl. I explained it to her. She said, I completely bugged out. And then, that lasted for a couple of days. I never got over it, but then I did it again. But yeah, panic attack. Right? So I had a panic attack. See, that's another thing. You can have a panic attack. It ain't pleasant. So it does have side effects, brothers and sisters. Remember that. I don't think you want to drive with that either, by the way, which people do. Just remember the consequences to the things that you do, by the way. Remember that. Don't think everything is hunky-dory. It's not. You put the stuff in your body, I'll pay the price. One way or another.
Handball tournaments, the ladies handball tournaments, they don't smoke. It's clean, it's nice, but it's not so popular, so sadly.
I don't know, like I said, people go to the tournaments because they have an agenda, What's on their agenda? I go to play, work out, sweat. I'm not really interested in playing that much anymore, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter to me. I come here, I work out for like an hour or two, I go to the Y, work out by myself. I'm fine with that. It doesn't bother me if I don't play anymore. I could give a shit, That's my agenda, you see? My agenda is that. Come here, work out, sweat, stay in shape, boom. Go home, feel good, get ready to go to work the next week or the next day. But people's agendas when they go into the park is it's totally different. Let's do this, let's do that, let's do this, money gain, whatever. I dig it, again, because that's what I used to do. My agenda was money gain, smoke, get high, whatever the fuck, hang with the guys. So I dig it. I dig it. I don't even think today's players even they don't worry about winning or losing. They're just there to show up and what they say, have a good time. But what does that mean? What does have a good time mean? Well, what is your way of having a good time? There are many ways to have a good time. When people get blasted on their birthday, they say they had a good time. Fucking head, but you were laid out like a fucking, like a homeless fucking guy. That's a good time? It's not a good time. Good time is, eating a good food, having, a cup of cake, you know what I mean? Some sodas, whatever. Being with friends and family. That's a good time. Not laying over there because you're fucking drunk out of your fucking head and will have to wake up with a fucking, massive headache from the hangover. And you're gonna say you had a good time? See, people have they don't understand what a good time is all about. It's not a good time. Good time is, those guys having a good time.
Yes.
Yeah? They're playing dominoes. Those people over there sitting down, they're having a good time. So the guys in the court,
Yep.
they're having a good time. That's a good time. Of course, well, I'm not going to talk about that. It's going to be on video.
How do we get the women's in the sport and their tournaments more popular? Because even men's tournament, they start with 30 players and at the end there's just 10 players left.
Well, the women are taking charge of themselves. That's good. They're running their own tournaments here and there. They're doing okay as far as, because they're doing it for themselves, because they know, because women are neglected in handball big time. I'm not gonna say mixed doubles. This is the funny part about that, right? I'm gonna explain this to you, right? Because this makes a lot of sense. When women run, when tournaments are mixed doubles, the can't you see how the guys completely want to obliterate the woman? So the whole game, the strategy becomes, let's tear this woman apart because she's a woman. They don't have the mentality when it's two guys. If two guys are playing two guys, they're just trying to figure out who can really score points on to win this game. But when it comes to the women, they eat them up alive. That's the strategy. Let's smash everything to the women. That's how much, my point is, that's how much the men don't respect them at all. There's a woman on the court, you're gonna fuck her up. Both sides are thinking the same thing. Don't laugh, even the woman's thinking the same shit. You know what I mean? The woman is actually picking on the woman. It makes sense. Not only are the women picking on each other, but the men are obliterating the women at the same time. It's who can beat up on a woman enough. And that goes to show you how much women are not respected. Women have not been respected in handball, and this has been going on for a long time. They're second-class citizens in a sport that people consider to be a men's sport. And all sports. All sports. Women are still looked upon as the weaker sex. Whether, it's just the way it is. I don't see it that way, but society is. So, they're never going to be respected. Never. At all. People don't come to watch. Yeah, have you noticed when they have a women's tournament, nobody comes to watch. They don't get those big crowds like King of the Court and stuff like that, right? Ain't nobody there but the players. It's like they ran the Gladiator tournament, right? Should have seen the women were on this side, the men, absolutely nobody gave a fuck. That is a lack of respect. For crying out loud, at least go watch the games, even though you don't appreciate them, you don't respect them, but go watch the games anyway. Yeah, they would appreciate that. Because if women see a lot of people watching their games, they start realizing, hey, we're going somewhere here. But how is it every time they run tournaments, there's nobody there? How is it when they play mixed doubles against the men? The men are watching because the men there. And the men are they're going hog wild against the women. So the women are doing what they're supposed to do. I got a woman, like the mixed doubles, I got a woman, I'm going to pick on her. I'm not going to pick on the guy. While the guys, I'm picking on him. So that's something that is always going to be there. It's never going to change. But that's why the women are doing it on their own. They're running their own tournaments, have their own little. That's it. That's the only thing they can do. Run their own tournaments. I mean, I'm not saying some of the guys don't do that. They run a men's and women at the same time. But you can see that if you go to that tournament, you'll see the lack of respect. Woman, man, crowded, zero. Remember, it's a street sport. Everything goes. Everything goes. Everything goes in handball. Everything. You can come to tournaments all juiced up. Nobody cares, right? You could be all enhanced with super fucking powerful, drugs or whatever the fuck. Nobody cares. You ever notice? I wonder how many times a person got into a tournament and watched one guy and said, "Yeah, this guy's playing real good. Never seen him play like that. He's got all this energy." I wonder why. Right? You see that shit in boxing. It's kind of like Aaron Pryor when he fought Alexis Guayo, right? The guy tells him, the guy says, you're supposed to have water in on your corner, right? So it's a tremendous fight. So Pryor sits in the corner. The manager, you know what he says? He says, give him some water. The guy says, let's give him some water. He said, the other guy says, no. Give him the other one, the one I mix. All of a sudden, Pryor, he had energy of a god. The second when he got back in the ring and he knocked out a girl.
He said that one.
Yeah, he said. The guy said, let's give him some water, and the referee Panama Lewis, his manager, or his corner, he said no. Everybody heard him. It was a big scandal. Right? He said, no. Don't give him that one. Give him the one I mix. Excuse me, just go have water in there. Right? So, and then Pryor got up and he fucked him up. You'll see it. It's on TV. And then they took the guy. They had a rematch. Probably beat him anyway, but they had to do a rematch. It was a scandal. That guy got banned, and they kicked him out of fucking boxing. Panama Lewis, and yeah. So you see my point, right? You just never know what advantages you can have when you're in a sport that really doesn't care. Are you really winning or are you losing? How many tournaments, same thing with me. How many tournaments I was wasted and I felt really great and I won. Did I really win those tournaments? Yeah, did I? You have to look back on that and think about that. Did I really lose that tournament? Because, I came down too fast and I felt weak. Yeah, one day you see, that's the problem. You're always going to look back on those things and wonder, could I have? Or am I really guilty? Did I really win? Did I really win or did I really lose? A lot of shit like that going on these days. Not just handball, but of course in all sports, in all endeavors and everything else in life. That's how it is. The point of everything about this entire conversation is, I don't see much change. You can put as much money, you can put money in there as much as you want. You could do this, you could do that, you could give guys uniforms, you could fucking be playing this game in Africa, or whatever the fuck, Colombia, or whatever the hell. Again, I'll say this. Yeah, it's going on in England, all these countries. What the fuck are they doing? You understand? What the fuck are they doing after work? You know what I mean? What the fuck are they doing before the tournaments? What kind of lives are they leading? Right? Is everybody on us, an angel? I don't think so. It's still the same sport. It's the same fucking shit. You know what I mean? It doesn't change. Whether it's England, Ecuador, Ireland, Colombia. But the thing about them is they have a chance because it's young. You understand? I'm sure that shit's not going on in Ireland, because in Ireland, the GAA, which is the Irish organization, I'm sure they're very strict. But again, really? Maybe not. Now you see what I mean? Worldwide cooperation. That would be good. Everybody cooperates. We're all thinking the same. We all have the same mentality. We're not here to bring the game down. We want to bring it up. But instead, we want to bring it down. We want to bring it down and keep it at a level where it'll never grow.
Mr. Angel, is there anything else would you like to add to this conversation?
No, man, it's been a long conversation about a lot of things, and appreciate the art speech. But understand that Angel Marquez talks, Angel Marquez is real. Ain't no plastic on this guy. You know what I mean? I talk from my experience, and I've been around for a long time. And like I said, I'm a student of the game. I don't just play handball. And if we don't do anything about, certain situations, the sport is never going to grow. Look, I'm not saying it's here. It's not here, and it's not here. It's still here. So either we're going to break out, go up, or we're going to break out and go down. Remember, what's here can go up and down. Our handball is not here, but handball is not here. Now you could say paddleball is here, right? Paddleball is down here. It's not here anymore. Small ball, here. It's not here anymore. One time it was here. One time paddleball was here while we were here. They've gone here, but we are here. We're in the middle, and that's good. So we can either start creeping up, or start going back down again, and end up like that. A bunch of old people fucking hanging around the park, and that's it. That's what paddleball has become. Old timers like yours truly, playing dominoes, and playing some paddleball games or whatever, having a good old time, whatever the good old time is now. So there it is, there's my speech. We're here, and it's a fine line, remember that, guys, between this and sinking like the freaking Titanic, all right? Angel Marquez off.
Thank you.
I'm hungry.
All right, Mr. Angel, thank you.
All right, brother. Take care.
Take care.